Every year, I go on a youth retreat with my church to Camp Chrysalis in Kerrville. Behind the row of cabins is a giant field, maybe the size of 3 or more football fields, that extends all the way to the river, and beyond that, a mountain that we love to hike. With hardly any pollution in the night sky in Kerrville, this field makes the perfect place for everyone to come together to stargaze. Traditionally, a few small groups of friends will go outside and brave the cold to watch the stars, each person taking as many pillows and blankets as they can carry. However, this past year there was a lunar eclipse, so not just some people, but everyone on the retreat was bundled up in their blankets laying on the field. I was with a group of about 6 or 7 of my best friends, all of us laying close together in an attempt to keep warm in the January cold. Of course, the person on aux was playing a solid throwback playlist. Patiently waiting for the lunar eclipse, we saw a shooting star flash across the sky, and I could hear everyone on the field gasp in astonishment simultaneously. I, on the other hand, excitedly said, "Whoa," really loudly, which prompted my friends and other people laying in our vicinity to laugh at me. Kate, my friend who is laying next to me, asked through her laughter, "Have you never seen a shooting star before?" And I embarrassingly answered no. Despite my friends all laughing at me, laying on that field in the freezing cold, watching the stars and listening to Dynamite by Tayo Cruz, I felt at peace. I felt warm. I felt at home. I began to take in the moment because I realized that this was a unique feeling that I wouldn't be able to feel anywhere else. Then, as the moon passed into Earth's shadow, our girl on aux played Total Eclipse of the Heart, and I knew I wouldn't want that night any other way. I did not always appreciate small moments like stargazing with my friends because the memories seemed relatively unimportant. They were fun, but not life-changing. They are not crazy, extravagant stories, and I have not always seen the value they hold. But after reminiscing on this trip and others similar to it, I realized how much I appreciate my simple life, and that my life had more significance and meaning than I thought it did. It is important that we all celebrate the small memories we make so that we might find more value in our lives. However, this trip was not the only memory that helped me realize my appreciation for small moments with my family and friends. My friends that go on the youth retreat with me have been my friends for as long as I can remember because we all went to school at Concordia growing up. In elementary school, we all got along so well that our teachers hated us for being loud all the time. But in middle school, we were praised for being the closest class the school had ever seen. Although we all went to different high schools, we still see each other often because we have a unique bond that I don't think time will be able to break. Many of my best memories are with my Concordia friends. For example, a few years ago, my family and some of our closest friends began going to Lake LBJ for Memorial Day weekend. This trip includes hours of tubing, occasional naps, a variety of card games, and waking up to retired military men forcing the kids outside to do push-ups until our arms turned into noodles. Despite how sore our arms were, I think it's safe to say our trips to the lake have become our favorite weekends of the year. Another cherished memory I have happened this summer when I took a day trip to the beach with my best friend. That day was one filled with firsts. The first time I got stung by a jellyfish. The first time we drove to the beach without any parents. The first time I got a sunburn so bad I peeled twice. It was also the first time I realized that although I have many wonderful memories with my friends, I've been making similar memories with my family throughout my entire life. When I was younger, one of my favorite activities was playing outside with my siblings Renee and Dean at our old house in Cibolo. Yes, the drive every day between Concordia and our house was brutal, with constant 35 and 1604 traffic, but I would not want to imagine living anywhere else growing up. My favorite part about our house was the amount of land that we had, because it gave us the perfect golf cart racetrack. We would drive the golf carts in circles around the property as fast as we could for hours on end, knowing all the spots where we could hit a bump to catch air, and always trying to find new ways to give us a good thrill. This often resulted in little Dean getting thrown off the back, especially if Renee was driving. Our golf cart track was one of our only sources of entertainment, since we lived in the middle of nowhere, and it was also my greatest flex in elementary school. People always wanted to come over to drive the golf carts. When our older cousins would come over, Renee and I would each drive a golf cart alongside each other so that my cousins could jump from my golf cart to Renee's and from hers back to mine. Of course, Dean would try to make the jump, but we wouldn't let him because he was too little at the time. I'm not sure if the parents knew of our young daredevil antics, but I've always kept this experience in my memory, and I have found a special meaning in small moments like these. Another one of my favorite memories from our Cibolo house was having dance parties with Renee and Dean. There was a big room in our house that had no furniture except for a couch against one wall and a massive computer in a corner that we would use to listen to music from iTunes, which is how our dance parties typically began. We would all be together in this playroom, and someone would turn on a song, usually Crazy Frog, and we would start dancing. Then the designated DJ, which was never me, by the way, because I'm just the middle child with no music taste, according to Renee and Dean, would keep the fun songs playing, and we would dance until we were ready for a nap. However, these dance parties did not last long, as Renee began to grow out of them, leaving Dean and me to dance on our own. But he and I never got along when we were younger, so our two-person dance parties often resulted in Dean getting mad and leaving me to dance alone. And yes, after Renee and Dean both stopped attending our dance parties, I would continue to hold my own dance parties for myself, yelling at anyone who dared to go into the playroom while I was performing. Even to this day, Renee and Dean refuse to join my dance parties. They never want to play Just Dance with me, but when they see me playing by myself, they roast me, saying, "Haha, Melody has to play by herself because she's the middle child and has no friends." Or, "Melody, that's so cringy." While their remarks may hold some truth, I have no regrets, and I keep these memories in a special place in my heart. These stories may seem silly or unimportant to you, but I cherish them because they are what make my life fulfilling and worth living. They have become a major part of my life and have been essential in shaping me into who I am now. Some of you might live for extravagant experiences, having memories of one wild story after another. But some of you might be like me and have a life filled with small, meaningful memories that make a simple life extraordinary. Regardless of what kind of life you live, we all have the decision whether or not we will cherish the memories we make, no matter how normal or meaningless they may seem. Once I realized that ordinary events in my life have value and significance, I was able to start appreciating the time I spent with my friends and family more. The simple act of sitting in a field and looking up at the stars became such a profound experience for me because I was surrounded by people I love. So I now challenge you all to make an effort to find meaning in everything you do, to enjoy the presence of your friends and family, and to appreciate the small memories you make with the people you love. Thank you.